The burner phone is glowing in your hand. One text, 3 letters, and 3 men who came to your daughter's 5th birthday party last summer will be dead before sunrise. You have 60 seconds. Let me take you back to where this really started. Not the first envelope, not even the first lie. It started on a Tuesday night in March. Your wife, Lauren, was 8 months pregnant with twins. You came home at 11:30 after a 14-hour shift, still wearing the same shirt you'd put on that morning. She was sitting at the kitchen table, not sleeping, surrounded by a stack of hospital billing statements, under the yellow light of a cheap lamp you'd bought at Target 3 years ago. She didn't say anything when you walked in. She just slid one of the papers across the table, $42,000, out of pocket. Insurance had denied the high-risk obstetric specialist as non-essential. You sat down across from her. You picked up the paper. You put it back down. Then you went to the bathroom, turned on the faucet so she couldn't hear you, and you pressed your back against the cold tile wall and just stared at the ceiling. You were 28 years old, a special agent with the Federal Bureau of Investigation, top 5% of your Quantico class. You believed in the badge so completely that you'd turned down a private sector cybersecurity job paying twice the salary the week before graduation. Your take-home pay was $3,970 a month. Your rent for a 2-bedroom in Miami that smelled like old bleach and other people's cooking was $3,200. You did the math on the tile floor of that bathroom for a long time. You met Hector for the first time 6 months into your assignment to the Miami field office's organized crime division. He was a logistics coordinator for a Colombian syndicate. Technically, in reality, he was educated, precise, and wore Italian suits that cost more than your monthly salary. Over 6 months, he gave you 3 tips that led to 3 major busts. Your supervisor pinned a commendation ribbon on your chest. The special agent in charge shook your hand in front of the whole office. That night, you went home and found an eviction notice tucked under your front door. The meeting at the seafood restaurant near Brickell was supposed to be a routine check-in. Hector cut his steak the way a surgeon makes incisions. Deliberate, unhurried, completely in control. He talked about his cousin, a family matter, a possible identity mix-up with a federal database. He just wanted someone to run a name through NCIC, just to give the family peace of mind. Then he slid an envelope across the white tablecloth, without ever looking up from his plate. Every alarm in your body fired at once. Your right hand actually moved toward your hip, muscle memory from 2 years of training. You were half a second from drawing your weapon and ending your career with a righteous arrest. Then you thought about Lauren sitting under that lamp. You took the envelope to your car. You tore it open under a yellow streetlight. $25,000. Crisp. Hundreds. Banded and clean. You sat there for 19 minutes. You know because you watched the clock on your dashboard. You told yourself you were thinking. But the truth is, you already knew what you were going to do. You were just giving the honest version of yourself time to say goodbye. You put the car in drive. It didn't stop. It never stops. That's the thing nobody tells you. The first envelope becomes a second favor. The second favor becomes a pattern. The pattern becomes architecture. By year 5, you aren't investigating the cartel anymore. You are the cartel's most valuable asset inside the bureau. A living smoke detector that goes off before the fire department even gets the call. The cash stops. Cash is for street-level idiots. Your payments run through a blind trust in the Bahamas, seeded through 3 different crypto wallets bouncing across blockchains that don't speak to each other. Your net worth climbs past $4 million. You still drive the same Honda Civic to work. You still bring a turkey sandwich for lunch. You play the role of the overworked federal agent so consistently that your supervisor once used you as an example during a new recruit orientation. That's the job you're actually doing. Method acting. Every day. Your partner's name is Miller, Danny Miller. 12 years in, 2 kids, a boy named Caleb who's obsessed with baseball cards, and a girl named Sophie who called you Uncle Ray at the office Christmas party last December and fell asleep on your shoulder during the drive home. One afternoon, you're at your desk reviewing a secure shipping route on your monitor, work you're doing for the cartel, not the bureau, when you hear footsteps stop directly behind you. Hey, what are you looking at? Miller. You minimize the screen. Weather radar fills the monitor. Your voice comes out completely steady. Just checking the weekend forecast. Supposed to storm. Miller leans over, squints at the radar, and says the fishing should still be decent if you go early. He asks to borrow a pen. He walks away. Under the desk, your hands are shaking so badly you knock your coffee over. You clean it up with paper towels and a smile. You eat your turkey sandwich at your desk and send a routing update to Hector's boss by noon. By year 8, Internal Affairs has noticed a pattern. Every time the Miami field office targets a specific logistics network, that network vanishes exactly 24 hours before the raid. A statistical impossibility. A leak is confirmed. Mandatory polygraphs for the entire organized crime division. You sit in the white room. Blood pressure cuff on your right arm. Pneumatic sensors across your chest. Galvanic conductors on your fingertips. The technician's voice is designed to reveal nothing. Are you currently concealing unauthorized communication with foreign nationals? There's a thumbtack hidden in the toe of your left shoe. You press down on it hard during the baseline questions, artificially spiking your stress metrics. When the real questions come, the dangerous ones, you find a small smudge on the gray wall, maybe 2 inches wide, slightly darker than the paint around it. You stare at it. You breathe. You go somewhere else entirely. No. The needle draws a flat, unbroken line. You are officially cleared. That night, you sit in your car in the parking garage for 40 minutes before you can make your hands stop shaking long enough to start the engine. There is one night, just one, where you almost walk away from all of it. It's a Sunday. Lauren has taken the kids to her mother's place for the weekend. The house is quiet. You're sitting in the kitchen with a glass of water. You stopped drinking alcohol 2 years ago because a loose tongue is a loaded gun. And you're looking at a photo on the refrigerator. It's from Sophie's birthday last summer. Miller is mid-laugh, one arm around his wife, Caleb, on his shoulders. Your daughter is next to Sophie, both of them covered in cake frosting. You're in the background, slightly out of frame, holding a paper plate. You take the photo off the refrigerator, you hold it, you actually type out a message to your handler that night. I'm done. I want out. You stare at it for a long time. Then you think about Hector, about the ledger he keeps, about the Bahamas account, with your name attached to it, about the 40 years in a federal supermax prison waiting on the other side of that message. You delete the draft. You put the photo back on the refrigerator. You go to bed. Year 11. The phone in your hand. 60 seconds. A joint task force, FBI, DEA, U.S. Marshals, has cornered Hector's boss at a fortified warehouse complex near the commercial port. The raid goes at 3 a.m. The tactical teams are loading into armored Bearcats right now. You found out 20 minutes ago. The operational details were compartmentalized this time. Tighter than anything you'd seen. Too tight. Almost like someone suspected you. Hector's message came through 4 minutes later. Is it raining tonight? You're parked in an unmarked sedan in the precinct lot. Rain hammers the windshield. The streetlights blur into smears of yellow through the water. You know exactly what happens if you text yes. Hector's men don't run. There's no time to run. They rig the entry points. They set up positions in the dark with automatic weapons. And they wait. You've seen the warehouse layout. You know where the kill zones are. You know who's leading the entry team. Miller. You also know what happens if you don't text. Hector's boss gets taken. He talks to save himself. They always talk. And Hector has the ledger. Hector has everything. Lauren, your kids, your freedom, gone. A concrete room measuring 6 by 8 feet for the rest of your life. You close your eyes. You see Sophie falling asleep on your shoulder. You see Miller borrowing your pen, completely unaware, completely trusting. You see Lauren at the kitchen table, under that yellow lamp. You open your eyes. Your thumb moves. YES. Send. You pull the battery from the burner, smash the chassis against the center console until the motherboard cracks into 3 pieces, and drop the fragments through the storm drain outside your door. Then you drive home, change into your dress uniform, and wait for the radio. It crackles at 3:47 a.m. Not a post-raid report, not the controlled professional language of a successful operation. Screaming, heavy automatic fire cutting through static. Someone calling for a medic on an open channel. Then another voice. Breaking. Man down. Man down. We need. And then nothing but white noise. 2 DEA agents and a U.S. Marshal are pronounced dead at the scene. Danny Miller is in surgery for 11 hours. He loses the use of his left hand. He never returns to field work. You stand in the cemetery a week later, in your dress blues. The sky is the color of old concrete. The honor guard folds the American flag with mechanical precision and hands it to a widow holding a toddler who is too young to understand any of this. You raise your hand to your brow and hold the salute until it's over. Your hand doesn't shake once. And that, not the envelope, not the text message, not any single decision you made over 11 years, that is the moment you understand what you've actually lost. Because a guilty man's hand would tremble. Yours is perfectly still. You retire at the mandatory age. Engraved plaque. Handshakes. Someone uses the word patriot. You board a plane. You live now in a villa overlooking water so blue it seems artificial. You have money you will never spend. You have a view that belongs in a magazine. And every morning, before the staff arrives, you sit on the terrace with your glass of water and you watch the road at the bottom of the hill, waiting, because the guilty always wait. You built the prison yourself, laid every brick, And the cruelest part, the part that took you years to understand, is that the walls aren't keeping the world out. They're keeping you in. If this story made you feel something, drop it in the comments. And subscribe, because the next one goes even deeper.